Hey, this is a general reading with my oracle cards for the cards. I just said carbs. Oh my god, seriously. With my oracle cards, not carbs. For the year of 2019. Now keep in mind it's a general reading, so it's not going to fit everybody. Also keep in mind it's spanning through a whole year, so just because a card landed on January, it could have been a few months prior, it could be a few months afterwards, or so on and so forth. You're all going through different stages of life, so that, yeah. So it'd be around that time, but it doesn't mean it's going to be specifically on that month. Also, keep in mind that each is, you know, not one sign in the zodiac is all positive people, and then it's all negative people. Every sign's got negative and positive people in it. So the energy might apply differently to you than it will somebody else. And I'm going to start trying to read cards upside down now, if they pull out upside down. I used to just swing them all right side up, but kind of been getting a feeling like maybe I need to start reading some of them upside down, like if it pulls upside down, then it means like the opposite of what the card means. This is not what it says in the book. I just go with my own intuition, what I feel it means to me, because, you know, each person's symbolism can be different from one person to another, and the universe is going to communicate with you in the way that you understand and know. So yeah, no, I'm not going by the book. You can, though, if you want to, but I personally just go with what I feel. Alright. The Lady of Lightning, surprises, sometimes shock, total paradigm shift, and that's weird because I just got done doing Capricorn, and this card pulled up for them too in January, and that card just means something may shock you, surprise you, unexpected, maybe a good surprise, you know, like something positive, maybe something beneficial, or be like, whoa, I didn't see that coming, you know. I'd like to think the card's positive though when I see it, like maybe you surprise yourself, maybe something comes in your life and it surprises you. Alright, February. The High Lady of Love and Compassion, Reverence, Kindness, Consideration, and the Metal King, Discipline, Armor, Boundaries. You had 2 cards pull up for February. Now this is the ultimate self-love card. And this is the setting boundaries card. And when I pulled it up, I kind of had this feeling like you need to set boundaries for yourself in order to have the master and balance of self-love. Self-love is knowing when to give others kindness and consideration, and also knowing when to give it to yourself too. You know, forgive yourself and forgive others. There's a balance there meant to be kept. If you're giving to others more than you give to yourself, you're out of balance. If you give to yourself more than you do others, that's not self-love, that's being egotistical, so it's selfish. So it's not self-love. You know, so that is the balance of what self-love really means. I'm kind of getting a feeling like there's something you need to set boundaries for yourself in order to achieve this. Now, what do you need to set boundaries in? Is it knowing when to draw the line in the sand and being like, okay, I'm not going to cross this boundary because that's intruding on that other person's rights as a human being, or I'm not going to cross this boundary because when I do, it gives me permission to hate myself, and I'm not going to do that. So whatever it is and whatever way it applies to you, just take it. I don't know if it's boundaries you need to set in how you treat others, or boundaries you need to set in how you treat yourself. It could be both. In fact, you know, if you are selfish, I think it actually is both. Because then you're just, because selfishness is not real self-love. In fact, it's usually there's a lot of doubt in oneself when someone is egotistical. So if you're selfish or egotistical, then I'm going to guess you need to set these boundaries to not allow yourself to think badly of yourself. You need to set these boundaries to learn to treat others right as well in order to master this self-love. Now, if it doesn't apply to you, maybe you are somebody who needs to set boundaries with others and not yourself. Which setting boundaries for others, in my opinion, is setting boundaries for self as well, like saying, okay, I'm not going to allow them to treat me like this. I'm not going to allow myself to allow them to treat me like this. You know, so either way, you're setting boundaries for yourself in order to achieve this ultimate self-love. Here comes March. That is the resting tree. Patience, stillness. That just means be patient, be still. What you need will come to you. You know, you don't have to work at it harder. You don't have to try to be good enough for it. You don't have to achieve all these goals to get it. Be patient, be still. Whatever it is that you're wanting or needing, it is already set to come. Though I do want to add something in there. When that card pulled up, as I was, you know, when I was doing this thing you do with the deck like this to try to, you know, pull out March, I started smelling a dog. And that is a psychic ability. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've only been able to read it when I'm like studying and whatnot. And I think it's called clairsentient. It's when you actually can smell spirit. And when I was trying to pull up March, I could smell dog. And I know that might sound a little weird, but dogs are known for being loyal. They're known for being faithful, you know, to their humans and to their pack. So to me, there's going to be, because I was smelling a dog, and to me dogs represent loyalty, especially if it's not growling at you, but just being a cute little puppy, then I get the feeling that there's going to be this loyalty that's going to be made known and, you know, put out there in the open. Like, there's this loyalty of faithfulness. So what does that have to do with the tree and, I mean, resting tree and being patient, being still? I don't know. But I was smelling a dog, and that's what dogs mean to me, so I thought I would share that real quick. And you take it as it applies, or if it has any significant meaning to you. Okay, April. Ideas preserved, non-action, entitlement. And this card did come up upside down. So I'm going to guess that it's the opposite of having a good idea to remind yourself you're good enough and you're worthy. I'm going to guess that likely you're either egotistical or you're not treating yourself nicely. Like, ideas preserved, like old dead ideas, like sexism or racism, stuff like that. That's an old dead idea that's not useful. It's something that holds back. But also an old dead idea would be saying I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy enough, or I'm just a piece of shit, or I don't deserve this, I don't deserve that. Those are mentally harming thoughts. You know, these are not good thoughts to have. You know, non-action. So whether it's self-harming thoughts or your ego, these are non-moving forward, non-action ways of thinking. And then entitlement. If you're egotistical, well, then you know you feel entitled even when you're not entitled. But just in case this does not apply to you, I will read the card right side up. Ideas preserved is an idea you need to preserve, that you need to keep reminding yourself, hey, I'm good enough, I'm worthy enough, I deserve this. And entitlement, to know you are deserving. You are entitled to this. You are entitled as a human being to be treated like a human being. So, you know, if the negative side of the card does not apply to you, I was going to read it up, right side up anyway. Alright, May, it looks like you're being a little nicer to yourself. The High Lord of gratitude and service, selfishness, humility, conscious action. That just means you're getting in tune with your higher self, or a better version of yourself, knowing when to be selfish and be like, hey, I deserve better than that, knowing when to be humble, you know, bow your head and apologize, have some humility. You're a human being, you fuck up, and sometimes you gotta apologize for that. And, you know, conscious action. Having a conscious knowing the difference between the two. You know, knowing when you're not being an asshole. It is that you deserve better than what people are giving you. And also knowing when to be humble and realize you're being the asshole and you need to apologize. You know, knowing the difference between the two. Alright, I'm not sure how to read this card upside down. I'm just now trying to start reading cards upside down, so let's give it my best shot of what I feel, I guess. And this one is the cosmos, creativity, vastness. But it came upside down. And to me, that would mean there's something created into the cosmos, something that you decided you wanted to have, perhaps as a reward or something, after a lesson. And, you know, so it was meant to be. This will happen. But it came upside down, so I'm not really sure what that means. The only thing I could think of is maybe you're slowing the process down of getting this achievement, because I do believe when there's something meant to happen, it will happen. But sometimes we can, you know, linger in that lesson before we get to that reward. So maybe you're lingering a little longer, and, you know, maybe, I hate to say it, but maybe you aren't going to achieve this thing that is meant to happen. You know, maybe you did something that you're going to have to handle it again in the next life. I'm not sure that makes sense to me, though. If it does to you, I guess it makes sense. But if it doesn't, I'll read the card right side up still. And that would just mean that there's something meant to be. It was meant to happen. It is about to happen. And as for what that is, I don't know. Only you will know, personally, you know. And maybe it's something you wanted to happen, or you're hoping for, or dreaming for. And this card in July is the Eyes of Beauty, positive expectations, clarity. But it also came out upside down. To me, when I see this card right side up, I think positive expectations is in expect the positive. You know, in that is clarity. Expect the positive. But it came upside down, so that does not mean the positive won't happen, but I'm kind of getting the feeling like maybe you're not seeing the positive happening, or you're not looking forward to it, like you don't believe in it. This does not mean it won't happen, because I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that it won't happen if you don't believe in it. I'm feeling more it's just you don't believe in it or see it right now, but that's not going to stop it from happening. And I guess that would make sense, though, especially when in March the resting tree, patience is still, in this card came up as in, you know, just be patient, be still, what you need will come to you. You know, so maybe there's still a time period where what you need will come to you, but you might be doubting it, you know, like, I don't believe in it anymore, it won't come, it won't show up. But it's, I get more of a feeling like, yeah, it will, you're just not seeing it right now, you don't believe in it, you're not having much faith in that right now. Okay, sorry, a lot of cards actually came up upside down. November didn't, though. I'm gonna get to that as soon as I can. So August, not October, I'm sorry, August. 2 cards came up: the Keeper of the Scales, fairness, balance, and the Lady of the Gift, generosity, receiving, withholding. But they also came upside down. This card, fairness and balance, you can clearly, you know, tell what this one means: to have fairness and balance in one's life, or seeking fairness and balance in one's life, or creating fairness and balance in one's life, maybe desiring it, you know, so depending on the stage you're in. And this card is the Lady of the Gift, you know, generosity, receiving, withholding. To me, that means it's time to stop withholding from yourself and start being more generous to yourself, to make sure that you have the right people in your life that treat you right, that don't withhold the gift of being loving and kind towards you like you deserve. But being as they both came upside down, I'm gonna guess that you're just kind of feeling in a slump right now, where you're like, I don't deserve better, and, you know, so you're not treating yourself very fairly or nicely, and you're not having that balance in your life. You know, maybe you're just going through a little bit of a depression, so, you know, we all go through that stage in life sometimes where we're depressed. So I'm not really picking up on, like, major self-abuse here, or, like, having people in your life that treat you badly. I'm picking up more like you're just kind of in a slump, where you're maybe inwardly you're not treating yourself very nicely, you're not being, you know, like, you're not talking nice to yourself. And maybe you feel undeserving, and that's why you kind of don't have fairness and balance in your life. You don't have that balance. Things are kind of out of whack and out of balance is pretty much what I'm picking up. Like that, like August, things are just out of balance. You're out of balance, and it's more emotionally and mentally up in here, and you need to kind of get your head and your emotions and your heart straight, because anything you're experiencing is really just emotional self-attack. It's not anybody doing anything to you, it is you doing this to you. Because that's what I'm picking up when I'm holding those cards, is that nobody's doing this to you. This is literally you doing this to you. You taking things the wrong way. If somebody says something, you know, you're feeling depressed, your head kind of manipulates it like, they don't really like me, they hate me, they think I'm stupid. Just listen to the tone in their voice. Clearly they hate me, they're just being sarcastic, and they're really not. A lot of this is up here, and yeah, so it's you're not having very good look on yourself and on life right now. If that doesn't make sense to you, though, just toss it out. You don't have to keep it. That's just what I'm picking up from the cards and what I'm feeling. And you know, if it doesn't make sense to you, though, it's a general reading. Just toss it out. All right, September, the Swan Queen, transformation, intuition, patience. This card also came upside down, though. So I'm going to guess that you're halting your transformation, you know, halting your growth, and learning, you know, and growing spiritually or emotionally, or growing as a person. You're kind of halting your growth. As for, is it going to stay on a standstill, or are you going to move things forward at some point? I don't know. That's probably an individual by individual thing. You know, some of you might be at a standstill and you're not going to be moving yourself forward until you can finally get your head and your emotions straight and realize that only you can help you. Nobody else can do that. And, you know, some of you, it may be just a moment. You might just be having a moment and you're going to get back on track at some point. Which is likely, because most people don't stay there. Most people eventually do grow, whatever it is that they're growing in as a person. So, don't worry so much if you're going to stay there. Just keep working on it and try to pull yourself out of there and continue to transform as a person and grow. Here's October, the Spirit Whisperer, Divine Guidance, Higher Knowing. It also came out upside down, though. So to me, that would mean that you're not listening to your divine guidance, you're not listening to your intuition, you're not listening to your gut, something in your soul that tells you where you need to go, the things what you need to say, the things you need to do in order to prosper or achieve something in your life that you want to have. You need to listen to your gut, though, and your intuition, somewhere inside, that little just knowing what you should do or where you should go or whatever. But you're not listening to that. It is there, though. Your gut, your instincts, your intuition, but you're not listening to it. And if that doesn't apply, then just take the card of what it means right side up, and that just means that there is divine guidance, there's a higher knowing, it's your intuition guiding you, little signs. So just in case it upside down does not apply to you, I will tell you what it means right side up. November. Now these all came up right side up. The Rainbow Prince, compensation, perseverance. That just means keep persevering through it. What it is that you're persevering through, you'll get through this. You will have compensation for it, for all your hard work and your striving to work on yourself. Alright, the Phoenix, the resurrection, surrender to change. That just means you need to change your ways, you need to change the way you're thinking, you need to change the way you live. You need to surrender to this change in order to have a better, happier, healthier life. As for what that change is, you likely already know. And you know, and if you don't know, then my suggestion is just dabble with some things, play with some things, see if anything works. If it doesn't, just, you know, try another thing. Try another thing. The Lady of the Mirror, reflection, non-judgment. That would just mean you need to reflect on things that you've said or done, or maybe you're thinking about saying or doing, but reflect without judgment. You know, don't judge yourself and think, oh, I'm a horrible person. You know, maybe what you said or did was wrong, but it's okay to still think you're not a horrible person. It's okay to reflect on it without bashing yourself. It's okay to reflect and learn from it. And if it involves another person, then also equally reflect without judgment. Don't judge them. Don't judge yourself. Reflect on what that other person said or did. Reflect without judgment in order so you can have discernment better and learn a little better. You know, like maybe you'll find out you were in the wrong. Maybe you'll find out the other person was in the wrong. Maybe you'll find out neither you are in the wrong. It's just you think differently. You know, but either way, reflect on it. But do not judge the other person or yourself. This is not a matter of like right and wrong. This is a matter of finding out what feels right to you and what feels, you know, what feels wrong to you. And learning from it, learning from the experience. But do so without judgment. Just keep remembering that. Now, December is the sacred union, partnership, romance, and I am very sorry to say, though, this card also came upside down. So to me, there could be someone you were feeling connected to, but there is now a distancing. There could be you self-sabotaging yourself. There could be this love opportunity. You could be having so much love. You could be finding a person that's currently there or you're about to meet, but you're kind of stalling it because you're not, you know, some people, they fear they're not good enough, so they end up stopping themselves from finding love. Some people, they're kind of like what I was mentioning with the card in August. You're not treating yourself mentally well, and then you're reading into things people are saying or doing way too much that they are not really being sarcastic or mean. It's just you're picking up on that way because of your own mental state. You know, that can happen too. There could be a girl or a man actually interested in you, and, well, woman or man, not a girl, that's a kid. Woman or man interested in you, and you may be sabotaging it a bit because you're reading into things too much of them saying things that they're not. And right now I'm like thinking, why do we always say girl? Like we're so used to saying girl for a woman. I'm like, I catch myself sometimes and I'm like, you know what, that's a little weird we say that. It's a woman, not a girl. But yeah, so December, there may be a missed opportunity there. And, you know, if that doesn't apply to you or make sense to you, then read the card right side up. It means you're meeting somebody that will be that person for you. Or you're going to feel closer to the person you're already with. And I guess if it applies, if you're already with somebody, and it's upside down, could just mean you're going through a little drift. You know, you can bounce through it though, and it could mean a breakup, you know. It could mean things that you don't want to think about. You know, don't be expecting the negative though, you know, because we make our life. We are, you know, I can read these cards and there's a general energy and reading in there, but we still have the choice over our life. So if things aren't making sense to you, you do not have to keep any of those cards and be like, have to make this happen. And, you know, if it is applying and it makes sense, don't take it as an opportunity to expect it, to make it happen if it's something negative. Take it as an opportunity to see if we can try to change that energy and change that, you know, outcome. Because you can do that. It's so I just want to make that clear real quick. Do not feel bound to this. This is just a general reading, and we all make our personal choices. So, you know, you can take these cards as to be aware of what energy might be around there and how you might be able to change it. Just remember that then, okay? Okay, so I hope you enjoy your reading. If you don't, I'm going to flash the cards as I always do, so you can use your own intuition. January, February, and I got very little time left on this phone, so I'm going to, like, try to hurry through this. March, April, May, June. Oops, that was sorry, that was supposed to be upside down. June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Now remember, you can change an outcome. You can change things. This is not, nothing's bound. I don't believe anything's ever set in stone, to be honest. I just believe things are, some of them are more likely than others, but nothing's set in stone, okay? So if you don't like the way that reading's coming out, and if it is applying to you in any way, it's okay. You can still change it. Nothing is set in stone, alright? So you have a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening whenever you're watching this. You have a good one, and have a good 2019. Don't worry, you can make it happy. Nothing's bound.